Hey guys, so I installed the 4-inch lift, and when I was installing this driveline, I noticed that, well, first off, I barely put it in. It seems like this slip yoke or slip is maxed out. It's basically the shaft is pushed together all the way, so I'm not really liking the odds of this drive shaft surviving. So one of the reasons it's like that with this lift is because the spacer is here. So if I remove the spacer and lift this T-case up, it will definitely improve. It'll definitely slide out of that slip quite a bit, or at least half an inch or so, half inch to an inch. So yeah, but in order to get rid of these spacers, I need to install a slip yoke eliminator right here, an SYE, which then I could get a double cardan drive shaft in here. So I already got that thing right here. It's from Teraflex. There's the info on it. So I'll be installing that here in this video. Stay tuned. Another reason I want to get rid of the skid spacers is because this transmission mount, as you can see, it's offset by about 1/4 of an inch. So if we lift the skid up, it'll sit into place. So I mean, I could screw it in, but there's going to be a lot of tension on the motor mount or the transmission mount. So it's just probably a better way to go about this whole deal. Alright, let's get this fluid drained. Okay, so before removing this, we need to actually pull this little shield off, and then there's a snap ring under there. Now we need to pull this seal off. And there's a big snap ring inside there that needs to come off. Alright guys, so I managed to get this snap ring out. Just kind of a pain without the proper snap ring pliers, but basically I opened it up with this and I shoved this flathead in there, and then I got in there and just kind of worked it out. I mean, it's possible, not ideal with those snap rings, so I got some better ones on order, but of course that's for the next project. So here it is. Basically I just went in there like this and pried out and got my flathead in between right here, and then once the flathead was in there I managed to get this in there and managed to get it out basically. Alright, so now I could pull this out. These are 15 millimeter. And then this one is a 10 millimeter 12 point socket. This is the oil pump. I'm gonna have to remove that drive shaft. I completely forgot about that. Alright, so I got the front drive shaft removed, and I got the pinion removed as well. So now I can just go ahead and pull this out carefully. Just like that. Alright, so here's the Teraflex kit that I got. There's the pinion. The shaft. Okay, so we're going to need to remove this snap ring right here. Alright, so here's that C-clip. As you can see, the difference here, the U-joints are going to be attached about right here on this thing. The slip was here, and then the U-joint was like way back here. So yeah, we'll have to see the difference once it's all installed. Alright, so I'm going to put some of this, just a really light coat. This stuff is, it says it's compatible with all oils. It's a super light coat. Alright, so the instructions say to use the included snap ring.
any Jeep pliers.
Just make sure it's seated in there properly. Looks good. Ready to go back in. Alright, before I reassemble the transfer case, I'm going to go ahead and replace this bearing and seal. I was spinning around the bearing and it didn't feel too good, so here's a new national bearing. Hopefully it's the correct one. And the seal. There's the number. So I'm going to punch out this seal real quick. There it is. Wasn't too bad, but still kind of a pain. Now I'm just going to punch it out from here. Right there you could kind of hear how rough it is. Just going to use a brass punch. Wow, did you see that? It's definitely a bad bearing. When it rolls, I could feel the indents catching. Glad I caught that. So it's probably a good idea to just order this bearing when you order the SYE kit. Alright, just compare the bearings. They look identical. I'm going to start it with this bearing. I think I'll actually be able to go all the way with it. Just needs a little more. That's it. That's all the way. Perfect. Easy enough. That's it. Simple enough. Alright, now we can go ahead and assemble the transmission, or the transfer case. Alright, so I got the new bearing installed and it's ready to be reassembled. I never removed any of this stuff, so no need to. It does say in the instructions to check these guides, and mine do look good. So I'm going to go ahead and reinstall the chain and these gears. Gotta go at the same time or else it will bind. Alright, that's all the way. Before I forget, I'm going to reinstall this magnet. It slips into the slot right here. And also this spring right here. I'm going to go ahead and put some gasket maker on the surfaces. Right, here's the other T-case half. I cleaned this filter up. It's actually really clean compared to some of the ones I've seen online. Now we can go ahead and install this. I did wipe everything down before I started shooting this video, so. Alright, so the instructions say to tighten it to 15 to 20 foot-pounds, so I'm just going to do 18 foot-pounds. Okay, so now we can go ahead and install this oil pump. So I did kind of just wipe it down, I didn't really clean it. But the O-ring will either be on this tube right here or inside here. In my case it's inside, and as far as I know it's easier to install that tube with the O-ring inside here. So this is for the vehicle speed sensor. This is the ring that the sensor will read. So before we install this, you install this right into this little slot. Just like that, and this little slot right here rides right over that. Just like that. And as far as the pickup tube, you can lift this up and look, shine a flashlight under there to ensure that it's installed. Make sure you do that, otherwise you'll starve this thing of oil. This ring right here, at first I was like, huh, why is it like rubbing against this oil pump? But this shaft will basically pull back once you tighten the pinion, and yeah, that's kind of how that works. So I'm ready to install this tail housing. It goes like this, and as you can see, the tail housing comes with these notches for the oil pump. And the case halves, actually, this portion, it tightens to 20 to 25 foot-pounds, and this portion, the tail housing, tightens to 15 to 20 foot-pounds. So I'm going to go through and retighten those. It's not pretty, but it should seal. Put a dab of oil on it so it'll slip in. Before we install that, we need to put some grease, not grease, gasket maker right inside here. Alright, so I just kind of got it in there like that. And this nut is tightened to 90 to 130 foot-pounds. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and apply some Loctite. Put some gasket maker on this drain plug. Oh shoot, this thing goes right here. Alright, so now I need to just put the front pinion on and tighten it down, and then basically I'm just about ready to put the cab back on it. I'll update once I get the cab on it, and I'll show you when I measure the pinion angle, that way I could order the custom drive shaft. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.